Some of my work has been translated, but you know, for example, let's say in my story I have two Hong Kong people and they're talking to each other. They're talking in Cantonese, right? So I'm hearing the conversation in Cantonese, but I'm writing it in English. So how do I do this, right? This is quite interesting. So there are a number of ways I do it. Sometimes I throw in a little bit of Chinese words transliterated. Sometimes I just have the sound, so I don't even bother to explain the meaning. I just have the feeling there. Sometimes I take a Chinese expression and I translate it literally into English because it works even though it's not English. I'll give you a good example. There's this wonderful Cantonese phrase, 你悶到我抽筋, okay? And I translated that into, you bore me into a muscle cramp. And there's no such an English expression, right? No, in the English language, we don't have this expression. But as soon as I say this in English, everybody understands what I mean because it has a kind of magic of its own when you take the Chinese and put it into English. So, I mean, there are lots of Chinese terms that you can turn into English. Just like today in Chinese, there are lots of English words that come into Chinese also, and people understand what they mean. And it becomes a kind of what we call in linguistics, a code switching that goes on. People speak in both languages. So I try to capture some of that. And that's just in dialogue. But otherwise, I want to just get a feeling for the place. And you can describe Hong Kong in any language, you know, you can still get that across. A language is just a tool. The culture is something you try to put onto the page in a story. So to write about Chinese life and Chinese people. At the end of the day, people are people. If they're happy, if they're sad, if they love, if they're angry, all these emotions are quite universal. And that's what you try to capture as a writer. And so I think it still works. It doesn't matter what language you're using.